Speedy Mite Racing is an Australian virtual racing team, and with drivers from all over the world, they are one of the biggest teams in virtual endurance racing. Just like their real life counterparts, they spend a lot of time and effort into practicing, making setups, and of course racing. But unlike them, they have to do it all next to their day jobs. Real life or virtual though, all the work is done with the same destination in mind, the top step of the podium at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Located in the south of France, Le Mans is a small town, but for the week when the famous race is held, the population triples. The track, officially called Circuit de la Sarre, is 13.6 kilometers long and for the most part consists of public roads. The layout with long straights and difficult corners has something for everyone and has been hosting this grueling test of man and machine since 1923. The event usually sees upwards of 50 cars racing at a time. This makes that the drivers have to deal with traffic for the better part of the day. Le Mans has given birth to some of the biggest legends in motorsport, but has also seen some of its lowest moments. As part of the Triple Crown, it's a race that everyone wants to win, and in more recent times, this great test has come to the virtual world as well, and the 24-hour challenge has not become easier. Speedy Mite had a good preparation on the run-up to the 2019 24 Hours of Le Mans. About a month before the start of Le Mans, Ettervelin Johnson helped out full-season drivers Sean Jacobs and Luca Berg to take home the championship at the final race of the VLMS.
But here comes Luca Berg through Sunset Bend for the 120th time. And that is Speedy Mite winning the GTE and winning the championship.
Coming from a high, they entered Le Mans with 4 cars across 3 divisions. The 149, which had a mixed season with some podiums, the 184, which didn't have a podium and was constantly hovering around the points, the 162, which was a one-off entry for Le Mans, and finally the flagship of the whole operation, the 48, with Sean Jacobs, Ollie McGowan, Luca Berg, and Terry Talbot behind the wheel. It had been on pole for every race but Sebring, where they had chosen the wrong aero strategy, and won 5 out of the 7 races up to Le Mans. They had accumulated such a lead in the championship that all they had to do was reach the finish, but at Le Mans, even death is a challenge. Sean Jacobs started the 48th from pole, but despite only having to finish, did not take it easy. He extended his lead to a solid 5 seconds within the first hour, and kept it there for the rest of his stint. After about 2 hours and 20 minutes, they switched drivers to Luca Berg, which dropped them to the back of the field. There was nothing to worry about. But then, after his first pit stop, disaster struck.
There's been a crash. Speedy Mite car in the wall.
Oh, back in the wall, yes, and he's lost his rear wing and all. Oh, dearie me. Well, Luca Berg in the car.
With Speedy Mite being out of the race, Race Clutch would take full advantage and seal the championship.
To the Ford chicanes out of Corvette, and Race Clutch, they were fighting with Speedy Mite. They would have needed a miracle. Speedy Mite went out. They've led ever since. Jimmy Paul will cross the line soon enough for them as they come around the final Ford chicane. Race Clutch will take the win and LMP3 in the championship with it. Here they come across the line. Winners they are.
But Speedy Mite wasn't out of the wind yet with the retirement of the 48. As soon, the 149 had to retire with a CPU problem, and the 162 fell victim to the night with a race-ending crash at Dunlop. Suddenly, the 184 was the only car left, but it withstood the test and finished 10th, with the car doing the fastest lap of the race. What should have been one of the best weekends for Speedy Mite had come to disaster within hours. They had their work cut out for them in the off-season, if they wanted to get back with what's supposed to be theirs. With everybody having had fun and being cooled down, the organizers really brought back the fire to race with 2 announcements. The first one being a new feeder series run by team leader Sean Jacobs featuring the LMP3 and GT3 class cars. And with some drivers having unfinished business in the LMP3s, the excitement for the season grew. Then, another big announcement hit. A new top class for VUC, the Hypercar. Coupled with the release of the McLaren Senna, the announcement drew the excitement of the crews that were going to be able to drive it. So, Speedy Mite ended the 2019-2020 season with 19 drivers split across 12 cars, 2 championships and 2 divisions, with some of them running a double season. For the VLMC season there are 5 LMP3 challengers, the 5 of Luca Berg, who is a favorite for the championship fight, the 10 of Lazarus Philippakis, who is crazy enough to attempt this with a controller and is also expected to be seen at the front of the field. The 9 of Cameron Sansano, who could fly under the radar and get a really good result. The 38 of Jelle Binsberg and Ollie McGowan, who will sub in at Sebring. And the 48 of Alexander Jones and Greg Hall. This American duo is a really good dark horse. Then there are also 2 GT3s. The 83 of Nick De Silva, who's a really good diver who could go for some wins, and the 84 of Andy Dixie and Stephen Gibb, who can be really quick if they find the rhythm in this car. For VSC, they are running 3 cars in Division 1, the 17 dubbed the Old Guys car with Sean Jacobs, Jeremy Talbot and Greg Hall, and the 18 dubbed the Young Guys car with Nick De Silva, Lazarus Philippakis and Ben Dutton, are both full of experience and talent, and they are expected to lead the charge for Speedy Might in the hypercars. The 84 of Alexander Jones, Cameron Sansano, Asashui Emuen and Luca Berg are in Division 1 after doing a great job in preseason and earning their place there. The other 2 cars are running in Division 3, the 348 of Jelle Binsberg and Andy Dixie, who are driving the full season, and they are going to be paired with Ben Dutton and Tetsuya Yoshida, but will eventually end up with Ollie McGowan. They are going to be helped out by Antonio Navarro for Le Mans. The 385 of Martin Fiala, Mike McGear, Alex Smirch and Stephen Gibb is a car that's expected to fight for points, but can really impress in the season and get some good results. Leading the charge for Speedy Might, Luca Berg started off the season well, finishing P2 at Sepang, and he did not stop there.
Didn't take the overall win. Those honours went to Erdem Akil in the number 39 Caspian Motorsports car, with the number 33 Team Rookie Monsters coming in a close second with the other Luca Berg taking the final spot on the podium for the number 5 Speedy Might. In the GT3s, it was another win for Lorenzo Reese. Heading towards the front of the field, it was Luca Berg who took the overall win and sealed the LMP3 victory. The Speedy Might Racing 1-2-3, which looked like it may have been on the cards earlier in the race, turned out not to be.
Their way up the order. Wave Free Esports with Smereglio takes victory from Scuderia Leone's number 50 car. Velton's behind the wheel of that one, and Speedy Might Racing's Luca Berg, important to know, was in 3rd position, and that nets them the championship lead. So impressive stuff for them. Of course, some retirement.
Confirmation there that the number 33 Team Rookie Monsters car of Luca D'Amelio takes his 2nd win of the season. Number 5 Speedy Might Luca Berg continues his massively impressive run of podiums in every single race this season with another solid 2nd place. And rounding out the podium, like we mentioned just before, is the number 37 Team Rookie Monsters car of Simon Marshall, getting a podium on his 1st race of the season. Speaking of results, let's take a look at how everybody finished. Having a look at the LMP3 results here, we can see that the Interlagos winner, the number 7 Wave Freem car, takes victory again here, making them the 1st repeat winners in LMP3 this season. Simon Marshall did finish 2nd on the road, but actually got disqualified after the race for driving the wrong car. He is allocated car number 37, where he was actually driving car number 33, which belongs to his teammate, Luca D'Amelio, who DNF'd in this race after just 18 laps. 0 points for Team Rookie Monsters in LMP3. But Luca Berg in the number 5 Speedy Might is once again on the podium, continuing his massive run of consistency. And Lazarus Philippakis in the other Speedy Might gets his best result of the season and his 1st podium.
With this extreme run of consistency, Luca Berg finds himself in the lead of the championship. But the other Speedy Might cars were not that lucky, and had a season plagued by incidents and technical issues.
There's not much I can do at this point, really. You know, if I slam on the brakes, if I try and avoid it, I'm going to lose control of the car or get rear-ended by Nick anyway in the Speedy Might, you know? It's pretty much inevitable, unfortunately. It was going to be contact, there was always going to be contact, but that's not what you want, really. It's just massive damage on the car. So get lapped by Philippakis, and he turns in on me and just tags us both and sends us into the barrier. It's just unfortunate. And there's Eric Strana, leader of the GT3. Yeah, but more dramas up the field, though, as Philippakis in the LMP3. The race leader from early on runs a solid 4th position. Drama strikes. It looks like to be some kind of technical problem, some kind of disconnect, which puts him out of the race. That's terrible luck. Sebastian Vettel, of course.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. I'll get me very angry. This, of course, though, brings out the Code 80. Quite unsighted there was the Speedy Might car.
The team who are having a few issues, though, is Speedy Might, as Andy Dixie comes around turn 8 and pops it into 1st gear, and also pops the engine. It's, you would have thought these cars would have a bit more downshift protection than. However, behind me, it looks like Fernandez taps Andy Dixie in the rear, sending him spinning into the barriers here at turn 3. That is massive damage. To go from bad to worse as he hits the bumps into turn 1 and gets some sudden snap oversteer, sending his car into the barriers where he overtakes. He running in P5, snaps loose at the top of the hill and goes careering across the grass here, right into the scenery. And exactly the same time, get LMP3s as Alex Jones in the 48 runs wide at turn 10, throws away position 2, but directly behind him, Jelle Binsbergen straight into the back of him. The two Speedy Mate cars, my teammate Olivier Fortin going end over end. Cameron Cesano crashes into the side of him as well. Olivier's got massive damage on both, although our rival Nick De Silva makes almost exactly the same mistake, but he's not as lucky. The car slides toward the inside barriers and massive contact. That is an in wide at the top of the hill. This time it's Philip Harkos in the number 10 Speedy Mite. The usual spot, also dropping from position 3 down to position 6. And if you fast forward another couple of laps onto lap 32, you can see, yep, you guessed it, the curse of turn 10 strikes again. This time it's Cameron Cesano, also dropping from 3rd to 6th. Seems like nobody wants that final podium spot in LA, but gets caught out going into turn 1 by the early braking of Jelle. The number 38 Speedy Mite gets tapped in the rear and gets sent spinning round.
So, coming to Le Mans, all Burke has to do is finish in P11, but just like last year, that isn't going to be easy. And the others are hungry for results as well. The VEC season start at Silverstone did not go to plan in Div 1, where the hypercars found both the cars and competitors a difficult challenge and finished low in the points. The GTE finished just outside the points after putting up a good fight. The story in Div 3 was the complete opposite, with the GTE finishing in the points and the LMP2 starting the season off on a high by winning the first race. In the second race of the season, it was much of the same story, with most cars scoring a similar result, but the 348, even though leading the race, ran into some problems with traffic and finished P4. The rest of the season did not look any better. The 17 and 348 had decent weekends at Imola and the 84 got a decent result at Sao Paulo. But Sebring looked like it could be the start of something better, with most of the cars scoring points. The 6 hours of VIR is the last race before Le Mans, and the last race where the Speedermites can put their season behind them and go into the season final with a lifted head and good spirits. But for that they need to perform, and they did. In Div 1, the hypercars went from starting P8 and P10 to finishing in P3 and P4, with the 18 leading the 17. The 84 was on for a good result, but with some troubles in the last stint finished in P11 just outside of the points. In Div 3, the 385 finished in a respectable 9th place, and the 348 got a podium finish after falling to the back of the field and serving 2 drive-thrus from the last race. This podium put the 348 in a championship position, and they can seal the championship without any conditions upon winning at Le Mans, but so can 3 other cars. All the other Speedy Mite cars are just looking to have a good result at Le Mans and make up for the rest of the season. So now, there's one race left, the race where last year all went wrong, and it has not been Speedy Mite's year so far, but that can all change in one race. So whatever the motivation might be, Speedy Mite's race for redemption is on.